Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bangladesh Innovation Conclave 2022. I would first like to thank every one of you who has taken the time to register on this event and attending these very insightful sessions and other panel discussions. And I also want to congratulate Bangladesh Brand Forum for taking this initiative to such great extent. I'm Noor Elahi, and today I'm here to speak about how to build an innovative mindset. Well, before I start with the presentation, let me just tell something about myself. I'm a very enthusiastic and a creative person in nature. Professionally, I am a marketeer, a strategist, and a business driver. At this moment, I'm working in Western Union as the country manager, South Asia. So today I will be speaking about how to build an innovative mindset, and I'll basically cover some insights that I have learned over my 15 years of career in Bangladesh, as well as internationally, along with a lot of readings and also through attending different sessions and discussions across the globe. And at the same time, through my specialization in strategy from Harvard Business School. So without much further ado, let me just start with today's insight session on build an innovative mindset. So just to start with, what makes human to innovate? Well, we are in the era where we are constantly bogged down with messages like 4IR or Fourth Industrial Revolution, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all that. And we are also on a thought that, hey, whether it's machine that replacing human in terms of work, yes, they are to some extent, but we are not here to compete with machines, because what human can do, machine cannot. And that's basically innovate. And from my understanding and learning, what I've seen that there are basically 3 C's through which human can innovate. One is curiosity, second is creativity, and the third is the craving. So our curiosity to see things differently, and the creativity through which we possess those information, and the craving to do something better is what makes human to innovate. But when we talk about innovation, we usually talk about the ideas. Yes, there are abundant number of ideas in the world, out of the box concept, disruptive thought process, innovative ideas. But what I truly believe that it's more about people who makes the innovation possible than the idea itself. Just look at this particular picture on the slide. This bunch of kids have taken an innovative idea that they would basically jump off and cross from one wall to another. But it's that particular kid who had the courage and who has shown the dedication to cross it and executed it. So that's why I actually say that innovation is more about people than the idea itself. But then again, when it comes to people, we always have the fear of failure. And we all know this particular word that failure is the pillar of success. But what I have learned is failure is the pillar of innovation. There is a very famous say by Mike Tyson, where he says that, hey, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, that's very true. The thing is, if you don't get punched, then you won't be able to rectify your plan or innovate it. And the next time you will be able to dug it and punch back. So with the fear of failure, we should not stop innovating. It's just a pillar of success and a pillar to be more innovative for the future. But then again, from my personal experience, what I have seen that there are people without even failing, without even trying, they have a great idea, but they could never make it to life. Because we often tend to go with market research, we often get to speak to our customers, and we get into the overall framework that, hey, whether my idea has a demand, or whether it will be bought by the customers or not, customer don't want it. But let me tell you one thing, and this is one insight that I have learned over my career, that customer doesn't know what they want. They are actually to be told what they want. Let me give you a few examples in these terms. Did we ever think that we need a mobile phone in our life? I mean, at least from my generation, I never thought of a mobile phone uh, uh, during my school days. Or did we ever think that we need a camera in our mobile phone? Or, for example, I personally never thought that I would like to shop without getting into a store, or I would enjoy a restaurant food more at my home than being at the restaurant, right? So these are some of the examples that actually tells us that we as a customer, we often doesn't know what we want. It's the businesses who innovated and who told us what we want. Another example I would really like to share here on this particular slide, it was a story of back in 2014. I was discussing with one of my PR that how countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, which is very similar to Bangladesh in terms of a transportation facility, highly dense countries, a lot of traffic jam, public transport is not that great in nature. So in those countries, how motorcycles are taking the ride-sharing market. So in 2014, I mean, if you could recall, at that point of time, Bangladesh was, or Dhaka was going on to a verge where people were more concerned about security while availing of public transport. So these CNGs were making grills all around to ensure the security of the customers, right? So I was actually thinking that, hey, people doesn't want to get into a CNG without a grill. Then how will they probably allow an unknown biker to take them from one place to another? Right? So this is where I was actually a customer and I was thinking that it's not going to work. But the ride-sharing companies or apps who are using motorcycle has actually been a fantastic disruption for us in Bangladesh. So again, to reiterate, customer doesn't know what they want. They're actually to be told what they want. So moving forward, when we think about innovation, we always think that yes, innovation has to be something new, something that has not been done ever. It needs to be something big, something disruptive, something that can make a change. It's very true. But innovation is not only about building something new. Innovation can also be about improving something. So to innovate, don't always get bogged down about bringing up something new. Improving something to match with the customer demand, to match with the market, to match with the competition can also be innovative. And from there, I must relate that anyone can innovate. Exactly like this particular child in this picture who is using a carrot and the stick strategy on a tortoise. So if she can innovate, everyone can basically innovate. But see, when I say that anyone can innovate, I mean, I get a lot of messages or concerns from people. Let's say if someone was telling me that, hey, I work in sales. My product team gives me a product. I know my market. I go and sell. So there is nothing for me to innovate. It's rather the product team's job to innovate and give me new kind of products. But I completely disagree with that. Innovation is not only about development, as I said earlier. Innovation can be about how you're analyzing a data. Innovation can actually be about how you're making a sales pitch. Innovation can also about how you're targeting your customers, how you're defining your target segment. So everything in every nature of work, innovation can actually take place. Again, like this particular picture, if this Three Stooges guys can make 2 + 2 3 as an innovation, then innovation can actually take place at any level and in any form. Let me just give you a few examples of innovation. First, to start with disruptive. We all know about disruptive innovations, and that's one of the cliche messages that has been told across, right? That, hey, we have to be disruptive, we have to change the way things are working. But innovation not necessarily has to be always disruptive. Innovation can also be a process-oriented innovation. So for example, a ready-made garments factory, They can decide that, hey, I will innovate my process. The way I was doing a production, I will not do it now. I will do it in a different way. So innovation can actually be on a process level. Innovation can actually be on a service level. For example, a coffee shop, they can decide that we will do a process innovation in terms of our service. That may help more customer satisfaction, that might help reduction of man hours or a faster service. Innovation can be in terms of product, that's something we all know. Innovation can also be in terms of a business model. Let me give you one example here. We all know about e-commerce companies, right? So there can be an e-commerce company who decided that, hey, I will have my own product. I will keep my own inventory. I will sell those products and I will earn a higher margin. And there can be another e-commerce company who decided that, no, I will become a marketplace where I will, like Amazon, for example, I will match the buyer and the seller together and I will take a commission and a smaller margin from there. Both of these companies are e-commerce. Both of them are serving the same customer group, same needs, but due to the business model, their ideologies and the business strategies will completely be different. Innovation can also be in terms of operation, how you're managing an operation of your company, or how you're managing the day-to-day activities can also lead to a great innovation. So these are just few of the examples of innovation. But what I want to again say that innovation can take place at any level and in any form and can be done by anyone. Now, at this point of time, I just want to give you a story of an innovation that will probably, and I will try to basically cover innovation that's happening at different levels. And this particular example is about Western Union, the company where I work. So for those who doesn't know about Western Union, it's a 175-year-old company. We are in the business of cross-border money movement, and we are the leader in this business. Now, Western Union for the last couple of years was facing heavy competition from fintech players, from small payment companies getting into the market, and who are actually making disruptions in terms of pricing, customer acquisitions, and all that. So Western Union company actually thought that, hey, how we can innovate our overall company or overall way of doing the business. So the company innovated that, see, we are a robust company, a 170-year-old of prestige. We have an ecosystem that covers 500,000 locations around the globe, billions of accounts, mobile wallets. We have a strong compliance system in place. We have a currency management system. So all in all, it's a very robust system. So why don't we look at our ecosystem and use it to reach out to a different level of customer segment? So that's, I would probably put in terms of a strategical innovation set at the company level, right? So from there, the product team, what they did is they made a series of products capitalizing our overall ecosystem. White label solutions, co-branded solutions, solutions targeted to financial institutions, to banks, to telecom companies, to fintech companies, etc. So there was a cluster of product that was developed and handed over to us. Us means the business guys. So the business team in Western Union actually took those products in the platter and reached out to multiple different segments and actually gave those solutions to different companies who wants to step into a cross-border payment business. So there was a strategical innovation, there was a product innovation, and there was a complete sales innovation. But all in all, when we clubbed these three together, it actually created a disruption in the market. And let me just give you a few examples of that. I'm actually giving here 3 different examples of how Western Union has created that disruption. We all know about Google Pay. Google Pay, it's fintech by Google who came onto the payment system, where Google Pay have their own UI, own UX, but Western Union is actually giving the backward engine and the network for moving the money from one place to another in association with Google Pay. Second example is Western Union and STC. STC is Saudi Telecom, which is the largest and the biggest telecom company in Middle East. Now, Saudi Telecom also wanted to get into the business of payments cross-border. So they have clubbed with Western Union with a co-branded service where STC Pay also had their UI and UX, but Western Union given them the support to move money from one place to another. Lastly, I will give you an example of banks, which is from Bangladesh, where Western Union has tied up with Social Islami Bank and Bank Asia for cross-border payments from Bangladesh outside for students who are studying abroad, for expatriates who are working in Bangladesh. They used to currently use general banking channel like SWIFT or corresponding banking to send money from Bangladesh to outside, can actually use Western Union money in minute service. So all in all, these are three different segments where Western Union, after that complete innovation, has went and created a market for the company itself. So this is one fine example that can actually connect with the points that I have actually said throughout my insight session. But all in all, if I have to summarize, I believe that innovation in short is anything but business as usual, right? So once you're maintaining the status quo and doing the same thing, you're not innovating. Once you're questioning the status quo, you're being creative, curious, and you have the craving to change the way things are working at whatever level, you're basically innovating. And creativity is actually the engine of innovation. For example, this particular kid, he might have influenced the selfie mode in our cameras. So just to conclude, I believe that every youth in Bangladesh who are studying, who are working, or who are young entrepreneurs, you can actually innovate for the better good of the people, economy, and our society as a whole. Thank you.